Hey, triathlon fans. Today we had the pleasure of speaking with pro triathlete Lisa Becharas. In this episode, we catch up and discuss what she's been up to since COVID hit, discuss key races and results, including Challenge Daytona. We also discuss managing expectations, dealing with setbacks, overcoming injury, having the confidence to follow your own journey, and tackling the mental side of sport in a positive manner. We hope you enjoy.
What is up?
Yo, Lisa, what's going on?
Wow, you have a very bold color behind you.
Yeah, so actually kind of funny. The one piece of feedback that I've gotten on like these videos is not actually the background, which I thought it was going to be. People told me not to wear a hat. I was like, why? I was like, I definitely thought it was going to be the background, 100% for sure.
Yeah.
The color's kind of like in your face.
Seriously. I was like, oh, you don't want me to like move my camera down. Well, actually, look. I have like freaking my room is a disaster.
That's not too bad. That's not bad at all. I've seen a lot worse. I grew up with three sisters, and basically all their rooms looked exactly like that.
Yeah, it's organized chaos.
But
Like I
that's
literally have a bag of Smarties on the ground.
I operate that way too. Organized chaos.
Yeah. How have you been? Sorry. I have to like close the blinds in my room because it's west facing.
So you're getting the light in your eyes,
Yeah.
blinding you. It can't happen.
What's new?
Not much. Not much. I mean, well, that's not true at all. Actually, a lot is new. From my perspective, probably the biggest thing is what I'm doing now, which is pro triathlon training. And so,
you and Jimmy?
yeah, me and Jimmy. Jimmy's kind of, has one foot in at this point. He's pursuing some other things within real estate. But I'm at it like 100% right now. Ever since when did COVID happen? Like beginning of March or something like that. I was doing this 100%. I lost because of the virus. I lost like all my opportunities. I was doing like marketing for a handful of companies, some of them being like race production companies.
Yeah, I remember the Boulder.
Yeah, Boulder was one of the big ones, the marathon, the Boulderthon marathon and half marathon. And it just was like, nobody knew if races were going to happen. Obviously they didn't. We like fast forward a few months and, they basically, everybody just pulled their marketing budget and was like, sorry, we're going to keep you on standby. And I was like, well, I can't really like, for a while I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. You get a little bit of a break. And then you start like thinking like what am I going to do? Like once like reality set in, like that the virus wasn't going to be like like a few weeks, basically, you're like, oh shoot, like what am I going to do? Like what am I going to do like to occupy myself? There's no races. What am I going to do to like pay bills? Like that reality kind of like sets in. And then like pro triathlon training was there. And I was like, and this is supposed to be about you. So I don't want to talk about me the whole time, but like it's also like catching up because we haven't really chatted in like a really long time.
I know. I haven't
But
seen that.
so what I did was when COVID happened, you've heard of Udemy and Masterclass and stuff like that, right? No. So Udemy and Masterclass is basically like like self-improvement education for yourself outside of school. So if you want to take up like coding or like brush up on like videography or like Premiere Pro or Adobe Photoshop and stuff like that, you can take courses on Udemy taught by professionals, and you don't have to pay to like go to school and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing. I started taking courses, like advanced courses in Photoshop, design, video editing. And then I was like, whoa, like this opportunity is greater than just like design and like marketing courses. And that's pro triathlon training in a nutshell, is basically taking those concepts from those businesses and applying it to endurance sport, I guess,
Yeah. But how long have you guys actually been around? It's like, how long has this been a thing?
It kind of like puttered from 2019. But this is, I guess, 2019, 2020. Yeah. So about a little more than a full year, essentially. Okay. But like 100% dedication, like to the business itself, probably since maybe like summerish of 2020. 100%. Okay. Yeah. So still like super new. I still wake up every morning like, what the hell am I doing? I'm gonna be totally transparent. Like it's super, and like you working with like other professional triathletes and being around professional triathletes, and you're still working for All Red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you even being involved in a business right now, like that's in the niche of the sport of triathlon when there's no races going on, like it's just like really tough and really like there's a lot of uncertainty even now, so like that's, I guess, like kind of the scary thing is like there's not a lot of money in triathlon in general. What? No, nobody knew that.
It's over here.
So like, you're like basically like trying to build a business in a sport where there's not a lot of money when there's a pandemic going on and there's zero races, not zero, but like a fraction of the races going on, and you're crying yourself to sleep every night.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so like that's, other than that, like just trying to have fun. Training basically for me was non-existent. Like, I was fit, but like, I didn't swim at all. I did some fun things. Like we went and did Anthony. Have you ever met Anthony?
Yeah, he gave me because he's been over here before because he's friends with Nicole.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then he picked me up on the side of the road once when I had a flat and drove
me home. I remember that, actually.
I was like, he stopped. I was like, Anthony, great. I'm like, can you drive me home?
That's nice of him to stop, though. That's super good.
I know. It was super nice. And it was the second flat of the day. And it was cold. So.
Oh, man. That's
always appreciative of him.
No doubt. So, yeah, like, that's probably the biggest thing. And I spent like 3 months in Florida, which was nice, which I'd never get to do, if I had a real job. So, great, I do have a real job, but you know what I mean, right?
Absolutely. It's the real job.
So how are things on your end? How are things in the Boulder bubble?
Oh, the Boulder bubble.
Boulder bubble.
It's good. I was gone for 6 weeks in Tucson, Arizona, because I don't like cold and winter. So I just got back 2 weeks ago. So I missed a little of the Boulder bubble stuff. And now some people are gone to Arizona. I like missed the timing. Like Rachel and Andre and Sam are all gone. And so the swim group got a lot smaller, even though, to be honest, I can't really swim with them. But I just go suffer and pretend like I can. I don't know, but yeah, things are good. I don't know. That's nothing really super new.
What did you do? Were you down there for a training camp in Arizona? Or did you go for fun? Like literally just to get away from the cold?
Literally to get away from the cold. So my friend Laura Gruden, who's a professional triathlete, she's more focused on like the shorter stuff. But I met her at this random Florida triathlon, the Great Floridian Triathlon. Yeah. Literally in October, and I think I'd been following her on like social media, and I met her before the race. Literally, we're walking to the start line, and I was like, I like this song, and she's like, yeah, and we're like kind of like dancing, and like everyone else is like kind of stressed out, and then I posted on Instagram like, where should I go train this winter? And she responded, she's like, come to Tucson. I was like really? And she's like, yeah, come stay with me. And she's like, so cool. I've never offered anyone to, she's like, I'm not that type of person. But
Yeah.
she's like, well, you were cool. And like, you seemed like you had a cool vibe. And I literally just stayed with her for 6 weeks. And now we're like best friends.
Wow. That's super cool.
It was awesome. Yeah. And she would cook for me. Which is like,
so you weren't just eating candy like breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
no, she made me eat like chicken, rice, and vegetables.
Oh man.
Back on, like candy.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've had an Airhead since I was like 10 years old.
They're so good. I bought a box of 90 of them from Sam's Club and it was a terrible decision.
So what is your favorite candy?
I don't know. I like them all.
You don't discriminate against candy.
I don't discriminate.
If somebody gives it to you, you're gonna eat it.
Probably, unless it's like, I don't know. I like all the weird stuff, like the circus peanuts, like those orange marshmallow things. Like literally, like have a bag of Smarties.
That's so funny. Like
I don't know.
It's like the most obscure candies like you possibly
so
could.
Good, yeah. I don't have a favorite. Anything.
So you like, I want to, because we really like. I'm trying to think back to the last time we really like talked. I don't even think like probably was when we were both working when you had left Leomo to go work for Alt Red. So how is it going at Alt Red? How long have you been there?
So it'll be at the end of this month. It'll be 2 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because then I was at Leomo for about 1.5 years, and then jumped ship to live in a van. And then you were so jealous of my van life.
I was like so hard jealous. Like it was ridiculous.
And I was like, get me the hell out of this van.
You were in the van for 1 year?
It was like 8 months.
Damn. That's
crazy. It was like on and off. Like I still had this apartment through June. And I was here for like a random month of June. And then I don't know. I don't really, that whole year is like a blur to me.
This whole past year has been a blur. So you
right, that too.
2
I'm like 2
years.
years. 2 years of I don't know, but now I'm like in my 30s.
Are you really 30 now?
I'm 31.
Wow.
Like old like you.
No, nobody's older than me. Seriously. I actually bumped up in the age group realm this year.
Are you 36? 35.
35.
35. Oh, that's still competitive.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The age group is definitely competitive. There's no question about it. I don't know about me though. I don't know. I'm competitive.
You just gotta swim more.
I know. Seriously. I was like right before COVID hit, I was tapering for Ironman Texas. I literally had Ironman Texas maybe like 2 weeks before they pulled the plug on it. And I was like, probably in some of the best shape from the Ironman perspective in a while. And like, I hit like this crazy like funk. I was like, I think everybody did though. That's not like out of the ordinary for anybody, but like you talk about swimming, like my swim was like on and now it's like way off. I get into the water and I swear, like, I feel like a child who just like jumped into the water without knowing how to swim. Yeah, like that's exactly what it feels like. And then like you think you're swimming awesome. And I got these Form goggles, right? Like
yeah. I've tried them. Yeah.
So I got the Form goggles and I think there's a lot of great things about the Form goggles, but it's only great when you're in shape. Because seeing the freaking number on your eye the entire time, like your face, is the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. I want to take the goggles off and just chuck them across the pool, basically. So yeah, I mean, it'll get better, but again, I got Texas, if they do race, coming up very, in like 3 weeks or something like that. And not 3 weeks, 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
That's what I said. Yeah. I was like, it's at the end of March?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of time. And I'll at least make the swim and then hope, that's all. That's my expectation level is make the swim. And if I do better than that, then I'm setting myself up for an amazing day. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're still going to swim like an hour or under.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it'll for sure be an hour, but I would love to be like 55 or something like that would be ideal. But that won't be. Unless I have that day and I just set myself up, like I said.
Exactly.
So what, like, when you left the van with Alt Red, was it like a promotion? Did you get a promotion? What are you doing now? Did you
Great.
graduate from the van chick to what?
Well, I think so. So we sold, the company sold the van. We got rid of it. I
Uh-huh.
hate that van. Gone. But so I mean, I guess like I just took on like a kind of different role. Like I work with like our sponsored elite athletes and then like our team partnerships. And I mean, there's literally four of us. So we have like our hands in everything.
Yeah.
And being in Boulder is really nice because a lot of athletes we work with are in Boulder. So it's easy to be like, hey, Matt Hansen, like, can we do a photo shoot? Like, let's set it up and kind of get things organized like that. But I don't know. I'm convinced that you have to like go through a year of the van and then to not have to work the van, because that's what Jackie, my coworker, did. She
Yeah.
went to the van and now now she's.
So you guys sold the van. So if you bring anybody else on, you can't van them to see if they're like, I mean, that's how you determine if somebody's a good fit and they're
Right?
committed.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. They have to like go through that. But then again, like my two coworkers that live in Chicago don't have to go through that. But maybe they're like more mature, and Jackie and I needed some growing up.
That might be the case. I think I should probably get the van then, because I still needed some growing up.
To grow up.
That's just sure.
Independent.
Yeah, totally. So, and then you like, obviously like, and I don't know much about it, but you got injured, right? You had some like hiccups in training and stuff like that. I mean, probably more than just a hiccup, I think.
Yeah, so my whole grand like scheme of the van thing was, so I'm going to be like traveling to all these Ironman races. Like I paid for my pro membership, so literally I wouldn't have to pay for travel because I'd be there working the expo. And so like there we go. It's free travel in a free place to stay.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, besides the fact that you'd be working like 20 hours of expo and then try to race. But anyways, it had this huge plan. Like, I'm going to be at these races. I'm going to race. It's going to be great. I'm going to save a ton of money because I won't pay for rent and like food and things like that. And then, essentially like the week before I'm like starting this van thing, like I was doing a track workout. This is the day before I'm going to like drive to St. George to do like a first event for work. And I like kind of like strained my calf like during a track workout. I was like, it feels really, really tight.
Yeah.
And literally that I stayed like that for 9 months.
Wow.
I'd try to run and I'm like, oh, it feels like I'm straining my calf. Like, and then I would just swim and bike and swim and bike and swim and bike and like just keep this thing where I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like I'm going to be able to run next week and next week. And then I'm like, so the van was like miserable because I'm in a different city every night and I'm trying to like talk to doctors and PTs, and I had a friend teach me how to like dry needle myself. So I'm like dry needling myself, like, that's probably but I'm like panicking. So I'm like, oh, get me out of this van. And so then January 2020, so yeah, not this January, but that one. I'm back in Boulder. I'm like kind of running, but not really. Like something's still wrong. Like my calf is like, I don't know, I have like this numb place. And then I finally get tested for compartment syndrome. And so it was like a Monday night, I get tested and they like stick this massive needle in you and they test like the pressure of your compartments and then they make you run. And then they retest it. So you get like pricked by this massive needle 16 times. And
holy cow.
But yeah, we like resting numbers were already high and then exercise numbers were already high. So in my head, I'm like, get me on the operating table tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time to waste. Little did I know there'd be a pandemic and no racing anyway. But yeah, so, and then I had surgery at the end of January, and they essentially just like cut your fascia in like 4 compartments in your lower leg and like release it. So your muscle, when you exercise, blood goes to your muscle, your muscle expands. And with compartment syndrome, like the fascia around the muscle doesn't expand. So essentially you just get like this lots of pressure and it hurts. And it just feels like weird. I like don't know how to explain. I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like there's pressure in my calf and I'm gonna
Yeah.
strain it. And so yeah, they essentially just cut your fascia, and then so like now my right calf is like significant, like it's always gonna be bigger than my left calf. And like when I run and stuff, like I feel like muscles will like kind of like pop out weird. I don't know. Yeah. So then it's like, you know, a year of like up and down and up and down. And it took me about 6 months to like run normally again.
Yeah.
And then like,
So like how did this all stem from like that one track workout though? Like how did it go from like that track workout to compartment syndrome? Like it's kind of crazy. Like,
and that's what I don't get, because it's like it's a chronic exertional compartment
yeah,
syndrome. And like so I'm sure some of my doctors have like other philosophies, but like I'm a very quad dominant and like quad and calf runner.
yeah.
Like if you see my quads, it's like I have just massive quads. You do too. I don't
I know,
know.
because I'm quad dominant as well.
Like, I don't know how to use my glutes or hamstrings. It's ridiculous. But I think, and maybe just like getting into cycling, like maybe my calves atrophied more, and I don't know. It was just kind of like over time it was going to happen anyways. But yeah. So I have no idea. But I had compartment syndrome, and then
That's crazy. So how, like, I mean, obviously it was probably immensely frustrating the months through from when you strain your calf while you were living in the van, when you had this like grand plan of becoming rich and racing.
yeah.
You know, like how did you cope with that, like mentally? Like that had to be, I speak for myself. Like I went through a time where I had an injury that was an extensive injury, and like it was immensely like frustrating, and I didn't handle it the best way that I could. So how did you kind of cope with it?
Not well, that's for sure.
What's like not well?
Well, like I'm coming, this 2019 was supposed to be my second year as a professional. And like you knew me through 2018, where I literally got my ass handed to me
Yeah.
every single race. I should have just, you know, and that
Learning experience.
right. And that's like I like looking back at it now, like that's where I was in the path. Like and that was fine. That was normal. But literally after my first pro race, Texas 70.3, I think like 3 age groupers beat me. I was crying after the race. I was like, what am I doing? And it was like 40 degrees. Like it was like a disaster. I was like, what am I doing? But because I had these like unreal expectations, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go pro and then I'm going to like win or like, well, no, I'm going to go and like not much change from that year to that year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So 2019 in my head was like, this is my year. I got to prove that I belong here. And, you know, looking back at it now, it's like just such a bad mentality to take. Is this like having a chip on your shoulder, thinking I have to prove something?
Yeah.
Because I have nothing to prove to myself. And I'm still trying to get over this, like thinking I need to prove something to people. I don't know. So 2019, I just kept trying to stay optimistic that literally my calf would be better the next week or the next week or the next week. And then at some point, like I got out of the van and I was like something's not right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So, but the whole van trip was like a whirlwind because I did some of the coolest things I've ever done. Like I've seen more national parks in those like 8 months than I've seen in my life. That was the best thing I did, was purchase that parks pass.
Seriously.
I rode my bike all across like the United States and some of the most beautiful places. But at the same time, like it was hard to enjoy all of it because like in my mind, everything was like, I'm injured. I can't train. Like I can't race. And this is what I want to do. So
it's so crazy too, that like such a small thing like that can cause so much chaos and disrupt like enjoyment of everything else, you know? And that's I mean, that's like that was like the hardest thing for me. I think you and I went through very similar situations, because my injury was basically like my first year coming out here as well. And I felt like again, like you and I, like you moved out here like wanting to train. I moved out here wanting to train. And then like I basically, boom, it hit, and I was done at that point in time.
yeah.
And you know, for me, it looked a little bit different. I wasn't enjoying state parks. I probably went through a more destructive path of like coping with something mentally. But like for me, it took a very long time to like just accept like the sport for fun, and like take out, and I wouldn't say take out the component of like competitiveness, but like quit making it all about the competition. And like, that then once I was able to find the fun in the sport, and like then I was able to get back to it again. And
Yeah.
that took a long time. That took me like 3 years.
And it's like, what's so frustrating, like why can't, like in the moment, why can't we just know like it's gonna like have that wisdom? Like there's so many things I wish I could have like told myself.
What do you wish you could have told yourself then?
Lisa, chill the fuck out. Like it's gonna be okay. Like you don't need like the things that you think you need now. Like you don't need, if you just focus on your journey and your path, like those things are gonna come. But if you think about like instant gratification, like you're just gonna be a freaking like tornado of disaster.
Wow.
Because you just need these like the things that you think you need, you don't.
Yeah.
Like just focus on, I don't know. But
no, I mean, honestly, that's some great insight, and so like did you kind of have like a network of people like in your corner who like, who you spoke to about this, or like who kind of was there for you through that?
The whole van and injury thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was dating well, now my ex-boyfriend, but he's a great guy, Nelson at the time.
Yeah.
And he'd come out and like fly out and spend like a week at a time with me in these beautiful places. And I think in like he would help me in some ways, because he's like, let's who cares what your training plan is? Like, let's just do this today. And I'm like, I have a bike ride because I'm going to be better in a week. So I need to stick to this plan. And I think he was kind of like, what is like, you're not getting better next week. Like, let's just go hiking. So I like, he helped me a ton kind of mentally with that. But honestly, like it wasn't until after surgery and like, I mean, my confidence, like going into, I know we'll probably talk about Daytona, but going into Daytona, all-time low confidence, like
Wow.
all-time low, which is like hard because you're going into like one of the biggest races of your life and you're like, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. But it was lonely, to be honest.
Yeah.
Lonely. Because you don't, I mean, you can call people and text people, but no one's with you. You don't see anyone like the same person or people every day or every week.
Yeah, so. Especially since you're in that van, right? And like
no place for them.
Which is crazy too, because like when I came out, like I didn't know anybody. Like it happened like super quick when this happened to me. And like, Boulder, like people come for the summer, and then once the summer's over, like the friends that you had, they're like going back to Australia or New Zealand and like stuff like that. Yeah, seriously. So like I was there and I was like, very similar situation where it was just like, wow, I heavily contemplated like moving back to Florida, and just like picking, but like, I think that's either me personally, but I think every athlete like has this like resistance to failure, and
achievers.
Yeah. And I looked at like going home would be like the ultimate failure. And I literally was going to do anything and everything to like stay out in Colorado and kind of prove myself. So yeah, I totally get that feeling of, being lonely in that situation. It's definitely like tough. So when you had surgery, like how did your mindset shift after that? Like when you had the surgery, you were like, oh my God, I'm going to get better. I can't freaking wait. Like, what were you thinking? Like, how did you feel?
Well, first of all, so I had surgery at the end of January. And essentially, like, you have to be really, like, I didn't do anything for 2 weeks, but I was like, I'm going to the doctor. I'm like, take the damn stitches out. I'm getting in the pool. Like, let's go. I don't have time to waste. But at 2 weeks or 3 weeks after surgery, I actually went down to Claremont, Florida with like QT2, my coach now, Tim Snow. Like they have like QT2 pro camp.
Yep.
Like I'm stoked. Like I've literally just had surgery. Like I'm not doing anything, but I can like swim with a pull buoy. And so like I go down there and staying with like Nick Granay, Trip Hipple, and Amanda Wendorf. Like we're all in like a place together. And I mean, like QT2 camp is like you just get your ass handed to you every day.
Yeah.
And like I'm sitting there and all I can do is swim. And so I show up to the pool every morning, like stoked to swim because I'm like, this is what I get to do. I get to swim. And like my pecs and my shoulder, like they hurt so much because I don't swim right. I use like my pecs instead of my lats. But like, and then we'd come back from swim and then they get ready and like go ride their bikes for 5 hours, and I'd like work and like wait till they get home. So I have people to hang out with. They get home, they're like, Dad, I'm like, hang out with me.
That's so funny.
But it was such a cool experience because I've never gone to like a pro camp and like trained with other like pros in that setting. Even though I didn't really get to experience the whole.
Yeah, you did. I mean, yeah, it's still like a unique experience to get the opportunity to do. That's for sure.
Yeah. And like a team atmosphere too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And it's cool that you were there with the team, a group of people. It gets you, it like basically springboarded you out of this funk, you know,
right.
Had all this positive energy and people training, and it just motivated you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we literally flew back. Like it was like a year ago, like today or like tomorrow. Yeah. Like flew back, like people are already wearing masks on the plane. this coronavirus thing, and like we get back and like 2 weeks later, like the pool shut down.
Yeah.
Like all I can swim. Like I can swim, and I started riding bikes for like 30 minutes a day. Like something, I don't know. And you have to really manage like swelling and expectations. Like you can't push the tissue too much, otherwise like you screw yourself over with this injury. But yeah, and then like for the next 6 months, it was like, I can run a little. Oh, my calf blows up. Like I can run a little. And then it just like pools are open, pools are closed. Like stay away from people, like you get isolated and you're like, But it was like a blessing in disguise because I would have tried to rush back so quickly to race when I wouldn't have been ready. And I would have gotten my ass handed to me. I probably would have injured myself. Like, and I would have been just like way at a lower place than before. So there's some positives to a pandemic.
So it gave you the opportunity to kind of take the time that your body needed to like get back to a healthy place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So when were you in a healthy place?
I think in like probably around July, end of July, August, where in the sense that I was like healthy in that I can run more. But to be honest, like I'll still like my calf will like literally like blow up. Like I'll do a long run and then it just gets super tight and sore. And so right now, like to date, it's been, I think I started training again around Christmas. So it's been whenever Christmas to now. It's like 2.5 months is the most consistent I've been running in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't had any like calf blowups or anything. So even with like the couple races I did last year, like before 2 of them, I didn't run for like a week before 2 races because my calf was like, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not going to be able to run. So I don't know. It's still something I'm managing. I don't know.
But you've always been a good runner, you know?
Well,
I mean, you may not admit that, but I personally think that you've been you're just a good runner, you know, like from my experience with running with you.
I'm glad.
Yeah, you're just you're strong overall on the bike and the run, the swim, like you said. I think you muscled through it a lot, but like my point being is like you're a good runner, and I think like, you know, coming back should be, well, I feel like it should be a little bit easier than like a lot of people who are like terrible at running. You know what I mean? Like you just have that natural ability.
I hope so. Like I don't run pretty by any means. I run like a buffalo. You know?
That's okay.
Out there like pounding the ground. You know, just I'm not like one of those like people that just float across the ground.
That's all that matters is you get from point A to point B quicker than the other person, right?
Right.
That's all that matters to me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
when was the Bear Lake Brawl your first race back? Did you race?
Oh, I did not do that. Thank God. I would have froze. Actually, I probably would have liked it because I'm a cold weather person. But I
So
did
the Great Floridian was your first race back.
the Huntington, that Indiana Olympic.
That's right. I
Mhm.
forgot about that one.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Oh, I
How
zero.
was that feeling? Like, how is it feeling just racing again and being on the start line?
Well, it had been like 18 months since I had raced, and I remember I was like, thank God it's an Olympic distance, like it's a 2-hour-ish race. But and my parents had driven down from Wisconsin to watch, which was awesome. And so it was like the second US race that was like happening that the PTO put on. And I was like I'm racing. Like, this is so cool. There's this photo at the start of the swim where like everyone's like preparing, like putting their goggles on and like, focusing, like doing this thing. I'm like opposite, and I'm like waving to my mom, and like I'm
That's
waving to my
totally
mom
you.
and dad. And I was just like, I'm so happy to be here. Like,
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm racing. And in the back of my head, I was like, I just got to make it to the finish line. That was like my only goal. I was like, just make it to the freaking finish line. And I had a good swim for me. I was like, yeah, this is sweet. I was like down 2 minutes from the leaders. And then I biked my way into the lead, and I had like a minute gap on the field. Like, I literally passed like Meredith Kessler and Jeannie Seymour, and like Jeannie and I had been training together. I'm like, Jeannie, come with me. But yeah, I had a gap on the field, and I was like,
That had to be such an awesome feeling.
I'm leading the race. Like, I'm winning right now.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, there's this little hill I came down, and then came down the hill, probably 400 meters from transition. I go to pedal again, and my chain is stuck. Like, the pedals wouldn't move. And then I shifted, and then my chain dropped, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm 300 meters from T2. Like, I'm winning. And then I was like, I don't know. And I just made the decision to run. So I ran with
No way. Were you still in your cycling shoes?
Yeah, I was like running with my bike. And then like Meredith Kessler, Jen Spidlander, and Jeannie, boom, 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 all past me. And there's this photo of like Jeannie dismounting, and like then it's like Jen or someone, and I'm like
on your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm like running in the back, and yeah, I don't know. But I was like so stoked because I finished 5th there. And I was like, my first paycheck in triathlon, my first triathlon.
That was your first paycheck right there?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a big deal.
No, of course it is.
Yeah, I was like, I paid for my trip.
Like, things like that's, I mean, it's like we talk about like, what are we doing, and like, should we be doing this? Is this the right decision? Like, that's a piece of validation. Like, no matter how you look at it, like you say, you don't need to prove anything to yourself or to anybody else, but like when that happens, it feels good, and you have to,
absolutely.
Yeah, you have to embrace it and just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I was like, I get to pay taxes on this, $850. This is something.
That's so awesome. And then you spent it all on candy, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the only thing. That's all the circus peanuts you could buy, right?
Exactly. That would be a lot of bags of circus peanuts.
I don't even know how much circus peanuts cost, but I'm sure you would. That your room would be filled with circus peanuts. Yeah, I'm sure.
That'd be cool.
So then you won, and then after that was the great Floridian, right? Which was that a sprint?
It was like a 1/3 of an Ironman. So it was like an 8-mile run.
Oh wow!
And it was like
So that was your longest race since your surgery, or for the 18 months, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How was that?
I
heard you did all right.
Yeah, I did okay. But I hadn't run for a week and a half before that race.
Yeah.
And I made the decision to run in like my Hoka trainers opposed to like whatever Nike Zoom 4% Alpha, whatever. And because I was scared I wasn't gonna be able to finish the run. But I came out of the water again, like third or fourth with this other girl. And like, when I get on the bike, like I'm on a mission. I'm like, where are
Yeah.
these people? Like, let's go. Probably one of the sketchiest races I've ever done, because there's literally like cars all over the course, and
Yeah.
you're like dodging. I mean, it's Florida. It's
It's
like
Florida. And
Florida.
that part of Florida too is like they don't like cyclists out there. Even though it's like everybody goes there to train, they still
Yeah.
really don't like cyclists out there. So yeah, I totally get it.
So like I almost ran my bike into a car because they had like stopped automatically. I'm like, what are you doing? But after that, like I just so I think I was in third for most of it, and then I caught like Jen Spidlander like halfway through, and then I caught Jeannie probably with like 10 miles to go, and we basically like rode into T2 together, and so yeah, I was in first. Like this time I actually made into T2 and
Yes.
first. I was like, yes. Like, and I knew it was just a matter of like seconds before Jeannie was going to come like flying, galloping past me. But and there was like a PTO, like the championship, whatever, on the line.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember.
So, and Jeannie's already qualified. And so the big one was like Jen Spidlander. I was like, she's coming.
She's on a mission to get that.
Right. And I was like, oh, I hope we have like a big enough gap. And like, I'm just like the run. It was like 90 degrees and hot and humid. And I'm like, I'm not a heat person. I'm like stripping clothes off, dumping water all over me. Like people are like, oh, this is not pretty to watch. And like at the first, it was like an out and back, and then like an out and back to the finish. And I just remember getting the first out and back, and I looked at my watch because I was like, this is going to tell me how big of a gap we have on third. And I don't know if it was like 8 or 9 minutes. Like,
whoa,
we had like a big gap.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I'm like, okay, I have 6 miles left to run. If I start running 8-minute pace, that means they have to run 7-minute pace. Like, they have to run like
I love that.
And I'm like, oh my God, because I'm like withering away. I'm just like, just get there. And I just remember like coming to the finish, and Jeannie's like hopping up and down and like screaming. And I'm crying because I was like, I get to go to the PT. Like this was like the biggest moment in my like athletic career so far. I'm crying, and like finishing was just like, that was such a cool feeling. I was like, I just finished second.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the question is, what was better, getting the slot to the PTO championship or that paycheck?
The PTO championship, for sure.
No, yeah, that's awesome. That's so great. I was curious about that.
I mean, yeah, because I'd love to say like, yeah, I do this for money, but like realistically, like in like, I'm gonna work a full-time job because like I like the security, I like the benefits, like I like my job.
Yeah.
And so like if I can just not lose money on triathlon, like that would be great. I
think you and I have the same like mentality about triathlon there. If I could just not lose money.
Yeah, if I just like not go in debt, like this would be great. But I mean, like, yeah, would I love to like make a living off of the sport one day? Absolutely. That would be freaking awesome. But that's not like the goal.
Yeah.
Like the goal is to just see how good I can get, I guess, and enjoy it.
No, I appreciate that. Totally. And I think that, I mean, I would say that's probably where I was. Like you have to be realistic with yourself too. Like, even if you are awesome, the reality of making like a living doing it is very difficult. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. And the PTO is obviously there to try to change that and like make it, more sustainable for all athletes to like make a living off of racing within the sport. And I hope to see that in my lifetime. Like I would hope to be able to see that actually happen for people who are pursuing like their dreams, because really that's what it boils down to is like, I think every triathlete does it for the love of the sport and like to see how good they could get, not like how much money they're going to make at the end of the day,
Right. Right. Like it's not triathlon is not that fun. Like it's really hard. Like
Yeah.
you're really we're chronic exercisers. Like you have to enjoy it. No one's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna swim, bike, and run all day. Like this sounds great. Like you have to like really love it to, I don't know.
Especially if you're doing anything long distance too.
Right, Ironman, I can't imagine.
Will you do an Ironman at some point? Is that is that a passion of yours, or like, do you have the desire?
I do at some point, but I have to kind of prove myself durable enough. Like I mean, that's a really long way to run after you've already exercised for like 6 hours,
Yeah.
7 hours.
Just imagine how much candy you'd have to bring on the bike.
I know. Like it's like a freaking smorgasbord out there.
I
Like,
couldn't even. You'd have to have a rolling buffet, is what you'd have.
seriously.
You would have to hire somebody to Sherpa around candy for you the entire
I
time.
know. You know how many calories you burn on that bike? No.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact.
You've done these before.
So yeah, I get it. Like, like you have to have like the passion and the love for the sport before anything. And if you don't have that, then you're not gonna be in the sport for a long time if you're racing professionally.
It's
So
hard.
then you obviously went to the PTO championships. Woo! So
Yeah.
how was it? Like, I mean, they promoted the shit out of it. It was really cool. I don't know if any athlete, I mean, maybe some, like Kona, obviously they promote it like to the ends of the earth, but like for a lot of those athletes, like that was like a cool experience. Like they may never get again.
Right.
So how was it?
The whole I've never been treated so like a pro.
Yeah.
Like, before I was like, oh, you want to take my photo? Like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to take my photo? And
That's
like it was just like it was really cool things I've never done before. Like the whole Daytona Speedway is so cool. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
And where you guys are racing in Miami, I've actually raced there as well. It's really cool racing on stuff like that. Yeah.
Like it's just like those like NASCAR, those are cool. Like it's a cool thing. It was a really cool experience. And like the cool part about COVID is because it was COVID, like we're kind of like forced to all the pros to kind of like be together. We're like literally in 2 hotels.
That's pretty cool.
And I don't know. So I'm like walking around and I'm like seeing my idols in the sport, like, and I'm like fangirling, like, oh yeah, like, this is great. I'm literally trying to meet everyone. I'm like, oh my God, hi, I'm Lisa. Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm Lisa. And I know people are like, who the hell is this girl? I just see it's so loud.
That's so funny.
But it was such a cool and valuable experience for me. But it was really hard, like mentally. It was so hard for me.
Why was that?
Because I didn't feel like I deserved to be there because of the way that I got there, if that makes sense. So
I guess it does, but it doesn't at the same time, because you ended up there. So you obviously earned it.
Right. And it shouldn't matter. Like I'm there. It's an opportunity. But in my head, I'm like, I don't deserve to be here because I didn't have a PTO ranking. Like I'm one of 2 girls to qualify like through a race.
Yeah.
Like everyone else had, special invitations and they were in the whatever top rankings and stuff. And like here I was like this girl who like got extended this, this invitation based on this race that, I don't know, the things I could tell myself in my head were not productive. And then I had gone through a breakup a week before flying out to the race. So like, then you're also like, as much as you don't want it to affect you, like it's going to affect you. Like that's life. So then like I'm here by myself in Daytona. Like, thank God I like know people. Like I hung out with Jackie Herring and Alyssa Dolha before, like, and so like I was like with them a ton. And like it was so fun, but I expended so much energy.
Yeah.
Like just trying to, I don't know, make this like build up this experience and like get to know people opposed to like focusing on a race.
Yep.
And I kept telling myself like I had no expectations going into the race, but it was unrealistic because I had expectations, because I had this expectation that I had to prove to the rest of the field that I was worthy to be there.
Yeah.
So I had to prove by having this X, Y, and Z performance. And I didn't. I had like a shitty day. And like, so it just was like, I don't know. I was just went in with such a bad mentality.
Yeah.
So like, while it was such an awesome experience, it was also, it was hard. It was really hard for me.
No, I can only imagine. Do you like, did you come out of that, like, not the race in general, but like just the position that you like mentally that you went in with? Did you take away any learning experiences from that? Like going into other races and stuff like that, like in the future, what were some of the lessons that you learned from the mental side?
Yeah, and so this is still like an ongoing process. Like the 2 weeks after the race, like, you know, when you're not, you take like downtime from like an off season,
Yeah.
and you're sitting on your ass and you're like, I'm worthless. I've been looking forward to this, but I like, this is not fun. Like
Yeah.
I'm like that. I need to keep moving. And like I like went on hikes. I don't hike. Like I'm not a hike. I don't like
I
hiking.
agree with you.
And I was like hiking. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I think I just like more than anything, like my ego was hurt because of, I just had this like bad performance. And it wasn't until like recently, probably the past like 2 months, that I actually started working with this guy, Brandon, who is like, I texted him earlier. I was like, what do I call you? Like a therapist, a life coach? Like, I don't know. My friend Laura introduced me to him, and she's like, he's amazing. And I'm like, I don't need therapy. Like, I'm a sane person. Like nothing's wrong with me. And I started working with him. And I'm convinced. And so he told me to call him a life coach. It's more of a life coach.
Yeah.
But every single person, I'm like convinced every single person needs to go to a therapist, like do some sort of therapy, life coaching, because like when you're in it and you don't have this perspective, like you're just like consumed by things. And as an athlete, if anything is holding you back mentally,
Totally.
you're never going to reach, you know, the things you want to reach.
Yeah.
And I've learned more about myself in the past 2 months than I have in the past 31 years of my life, which is pretty cool.
Whoa.
So, I know, which is saying a lot.
That's freaking huge. Like that's the biggest promotion for that guy ever right there.
I know. He's like, seriously, he's amazing. He's amazing. And yeah, and it's just like the things he says and the things I learn and the perspectives I like have gained. I'm like, oh my God.
Were you super skeptical, like, you know, reaching out to him at first?
100%. I was like, nothing is wrong with me. Like, there's nothing that you can say that's going to make me like be better. Like what's wrong with me? I'm a perfect person. And it's just like my ego talking, like, cause my ego, it's like, it protects you. You have all these walls up to protect you.
Yeah.
And, but like after the first like conversation, I was like, wow, okay, like I really give this a try. And my friend Laura's like, how was it? And I'm like, you know, it's fine. It was like, he's so cool and stuff. But like, I didn't want to let myself be vulnerable and be like, wow, yeah, I really think this guy can help me. Cause apparently I do need a lot of help.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm in it. And I like talk to him like once a week. And it's like, I look forward to it every week. I'm like, I get to talk to Brandon. He has this calming voice. And I'm like, you know, I talked to him a couple of days ago and I'm like head spinning, like you're preparing for a race. You have 18,000 different things to think of. And he's like, I feel like you're kind of scattered. It's like, yeah. Mm-hmm,
so what's, I guess, do you guys, you know, and I don't want to get too into it cause I know it's very personal. Like what's the goal for like the next 3-6 months with that? Like what, you know, to be able to become a little bit more confident going into race day, you know, to kind of clear your head a little bit more, you know, when you get to a race, like what's the goal, you know, with working with him?
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, the biggest goal is, learning about myself, how I function, what I need essentially. And then working on confidence, because like as an athlete, like we have such big egos and sometimes like such little confidence.
Yeah.
So developing confidence but also like realizing that like, what's really, really interesting is that like the things in our childhood, like they come up everywhere in our life. Like literally how our parents raised us, they were trying their best, but every single parent screws us up in some way, whether it's just like how they parent or like things that have happened. And essentially just kind of those things will keep showing up in your life in random things. So like I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always felt like I needed to prove myself. Which is, I mean, like, and that comes up so much. And it's, when I was little, I'm the youngest one, give me attention, pay attention to me. Like I need to prove myself, so it's just, and it's realizing those things, like recognizing them, identifying them, and then kind of putting them to peace, like being with peace at them. And so you can use that energy to focus on your craft, which is triathlon.
Yeah.
Swim, bike, and run. So the more energy I can put into that, which isn't being distracted by X, Y, and Z, like the better I'm going to get at triathlon. So I don't know.
Lisa, you sound so grown up now.
Right? I'm 31. I'm like in my mid-30s.
It's so crazy. It's awesome to hear you talk and to actually get the opportunity to connect with you again. It's really nice to hear your journey, like even the past like year and a half, because regardless of like, I follow you, whatever's put out, like social media wise, whatever, I get the opportunity to see bits and pieces, and I always enjoy like taking that opportunity to like see where you're at, and then now to go dig a little bit deeper. It's been like awesome,
Yeah.
So
no, it's fun.
I just want to ask, like, prior, to kind of like, because I don't want to take any more of your time. It's been like an hour, which is like crazy because it doesn't feel like it's been an hour at all. What's the plan for Miami? You're obviously going down, right? You said this is like the most consistent running and training that you've had in the past 2 months. Are you going down there just to, I don't think anybody's in like the best shape of their life at this point in time. Are you just kind of going down there, like enjoy yourself, like enjoy racing again, get some warm weather? Like, what's the focus for you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, the number one focus is to be able to give my best effort on the day. And like, if top 5 or 32nd, like I have no idea, but I want to like to cross the finish line knowing that that's the best effort I could give, because there's so many question marks in my training right now. I'm like, how fast can I bike? I don't know. How fast? I have no idea. I'm like, we haven't really done testing, so that I don't know. So instead of focusing on like numbers and paces, I want to focus on competing and like asking myself throughout the race, like, is this an appropriate effort? Can I give more, or should I back off? Like, I don't know. And then compete. Like, I freaking love competing, and I haven't felt like I've competed in a long time. So I don't know. When when Paula Finley flew past me in Daytona on the bike, and I was like, why am I going?
Are my brakes rubbing?
Yeah, something must be rubbing. So I don't know. For me, it's just warm weather, bring it on.
Seriously, Miami too. Like, I just, I've been contemplating going down there, like, for not to race, just networking,
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, like, imagine, I mean, it's COVID time, so it's kind of weird, but like the party that could be so freaking awesome if it wasn't like COVID times. Like everybody out there, like after the race, having like an awesome time. It's still early in the season. Like, yeah.
Pina coladas on the beach.
That's what I'm saying.
And then in bed by 9.
Oh, definitely. In bed by 9, because you have to be on a 6 a.m. flight.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly what has to happen.
Because no one's rich in the sport, so we're all taking cheap flights.
That's exactly the cheapest flight possible, which is either the red eye or the first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
Although I was looking at the flights, and it's like from Denver, it's like $87 to get out there.
It's really, I mean, I think I paid like 130 round trip on American.
That's, I mean,
Yeah. I was like, this
definitely like, it's definitely tempting, but like I'm trying to focus on like what our core competency is, which is like the courses.
Yeah.
And not getting wrapped up in like, oh, I need to go there and like report on the race and get photos and stuff like that. Like, no, like that's not like, we're not a media outlet. We're like an educational outlet. Outfit. I don't know where. So yeah, that's the deal. But yeah, Lisa, like genuinely, sincerely, like I've like enjoyed catching up with you. It's been awesome.
Me too. And did you know, like, you're the reason one of the big reasons I'm actually in Boulder, because you like hooked me up with a job.
Oh my God. I actually forgot about that.
When we were,
I mean, I don't know if you should be thanking me for that or like,
no.
like, I mean, would you have come if it wasn't for that?
Well, I'm not going to move somewhere without a job.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing, is like, I'm not going to move to Boulder without a job. Like, Boulder's so expensive. And so like literally the Leomo job got me to Boulder, like made me like, I was like, I'm leaving, I'm chasing this dream. Like, I'm leaving this comfortable job and I'm out here. And it was because of you were like, yeah, this company I work for. And thanks to Leomo, so we could both thank Leomo.
I know, seriously. No, I mean, I forgot about that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So thanks to you, I'm here chasing my dream.
You're welcome. That should be on your tombstone. Thanks to Gerard.
When I become world champion.
Yeah, seriously.
Gerard.
give me a shout out, like in your speech. Be like, if it wasn't for Gerard, I would not have been able to reach the pinnacle of triathlon.
Exactly.
The ultimate world champion, who I am today.
Exactly. So
okay,
good. You go. We're full circle.
We are full circle. Well, good luck down in Miami. I hope you have a good time.
Thank you.
Seriously, I don't know if I think it is televised.
Facebook, $199.
You got to pay for it?
$199.
Oh, damn.
$2, Gerard.
$2. I'm already giving so much back to the sport. No, I'll pay, because I you have to, I mean, it's not like, if you want something to change, there's obviously going to be like a cost associated with it. And to make big changes like they're trying to do, you have to support it. Otherwise it's just going to stay the status quo, and the status quo, like, I don't know how it's going to impact me as an amateur, but like, I do know many professional athletes, and I want them to be able to like pursue their dreams, like we were just talking about, in a comfortable fashion, with like less pressure than they have, and like less stress and less worry. So if that means paying $2 to, but that's also the other reason why like pro triathlon training exists, is to like,
to help to
like take pressure off of like the pros, like give them another avenue or another channel for some income. So yeah, I mean, that's like, that should be like the focus, like the pros should be able to live comfortably and make a comfortable living, since I would venture to believe that like a lot of the pros in triathlon probably put more time into their craft than a lot of other athletes. And I may get flack for that, but I think like based off of how much I train personally, and I know pros train more than I train. So,
you can't, like, if you're a baseball pitcher, you can only pitch so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously do other things, but,
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
I mean, I played baseball and I could only hit like bat so much before like my body got sore from batting,
You could probably ride as many miles as you want.
Well, I could probably put so much more time into baseball now than I did before, because I'm in such better shape than I was when I was a baseball player. Seriously, I was like 180 pounds playing baseball. Like I wasn't even in shape, but that's baseball, that is what it is. So, all right, Lisa, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun. And I'll see ya hopefully sometime on the road soon.
Soon as it warms up.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be out there tomorrow.
I will be out there tomorrow, actually. Do you think, and we're going to do this thing where we say bye like 500 times. But do you think, have you or anybody that you train with been up into the mountains at all? Is it any good?
I've been to Jamestown and a little past like up Super James, not to like where the gravel is, but I've been, I don't know, a couple miles from where the gravel is, and it's clear. It's
okay.
They haven't really we haven't gotten snow for a while, so.
Did you guys get any last night?
Did what?
Did you get any snow last night?
It drizzled a little, but no snow. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll head up to Boulder. Are you going to be riding?
Yeah, I will work out.
What's your workout?
25 minutes, 20 minutes, and 15 minutes.
At tempo?
Yeah, it's like a tempo pace.
Tempo pace.
Yeah.
That's fun.
2 hours and 45 minutes of fun.
I may have, I'm still waiting for my weekend workouts to be posted. I'll probably have like
5-hour rides.
Yeah, I probably will have a 5-hour ride. It's honestly, it's probably going to be like 8 by 20 minutes tempo. Yeah. That's like I love it and I hate it because honestly, like I love it when you go into it and you feel great because 8 by 20 minutes at tempo, if you feel good, like that's a good feeling. But the worst feeling in the world is doing the first 20-minute effort and feeling like shit and knowing that you have 7 more of them to do after that. And you just know it's like the longest day in the world. So it's like a coin flip based off of today. Like if I went and I did that workout today, I would have probably threw in the towel. I did an hour easy today and like putting out like no watts felt like putting out like maximum effort. So yeah, we'll see. But I'll probably be out there. So if I see you, I'll wave. All right.
Okay. I'll wave back.
Just throw one. You still have those autograph cards from Daytona?
I do.
Just throw one of those at me.
I autographed them and gave them to my parents for Christmas.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
You know, they did. Because I had some left over. I don't know why no one wanted them.
It's a big deal. Like it's like regardless of how like we look at it, like or other people look at it, like it's a big deal. You know, like you're like it's cool and like I know your parents like getting something like that, like a card, like with a cool freaking picture with your name on it, like it's like a freaking basketball card. That's like a Michael Jordan card right there.
It's good stuff.
I couldn't think of a woman basketball player to compare that to. Like, I just don't follow women. I could say like Serena Williams, like tennis or something.
Oh, I don't know many female WNBA players. No. Basketball. I just really don't follow basketball very much.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's like, and Shaquille O'Neal. Other than that. Yeah. All right, Lisa, I'm done. I'll talk to you later. I just thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good weekend.
See you. You too. Bye.
Bye.